Thank you. Allows us to access compassion and mutual understanding. It's also important just to remember how past experiences with bias affect our ability to access psychological trust in the workplace and in any group. I see your hand, and then I'll get you, and we'll move on. See you.
So I think most all of us are, all of us look at life through the prism of our experiences.
Absolutely.
And it's inevitable that based on what has already transpired, these unconscious biases will be there. Sometimes they're deep-seated. Very often they may even be as a result of some trauma. Mm-hmm. But I think the video was very clarifying in the sense that we have to accept that, we have to move beyond that. Mm-hmm. Otherwise, it will just be one continuous circle of biases and the trauma that comes from it.
Absolutely, thank you. And then you?
And I'm Kate, I didn't say that last time. Virginia, hi. Two things that I love. One was that whole notion, building off of what you were just saying, that we all would like to think that we don't have biases, but we do. And then to own that and show self-compassion. But the other piece is that notion of cognitive shortcuts. That I think is so powerful because we move so fast, and it begs us to slow down, take a deep for a second.
Absolutely. So it's that internalizing the fundamental truth that, like, as human beings, we all have preferences. And that is what a bias is, right? Fundamentally, it's a preference in favor of or against a thing, person, etc. And so if we accept that fundamental truth and not look at it as a flaw in our character or our sense of morale, then we can also extend that grace to insert that element of pause instead of taking those shortcuts. I've seen you raise your hand a couple of times, so I'd like to hear from you.
Thank you. Besaida Fernandez, Costa Rica, USA. I just wanted to connect that with the idea that we heard earlier about exposure increases likeness. And I think one of the problems with DEI, or not the problems, the things that we need to continue to practice is that idea of moving beyond this mere look, like it was said, 90% of our decisions are made in our unconscious mind. Quite accurate, and we give the space to go beyond that first shot away, then we will discover, the person. But then we're in a hurry, we're moving too fast, and we just don't want to take the time. And the time needs to be taken.
I agree, and that's an excellent segue into our conversation on intersectionality, because the argument that you're making is if we just look beyond the surface, right, we can find points of connection and points of commonality, and that one requires a bit of self-awareness about all the identities we hold based on our lived experiences.